give it a little wiggle. It keeps the heat down. Don't have to saw all, well, cut all the way through because this will bend. Okay, so there we go. That's that one. So has anyone got another map? Now you've got a nice collar there. So we can start by highlighting that, and you trim horizontal to the margin. So that's that way. Don't go up and down towards the margin because you'll cut it away. You take any casting defect off.
Isn't it the same technique as the gold coin?
No, because we're going to stop just slightly short. It doesn't go all the way through. You make this shiny, the porcelain won't stick to it. Okay, so we'll assume that that's down to 0.3 rather than putting a hole in it. We'll check the bite. Yeah.
What alloy is that?
This is a nickel chromium alloy. So we can check the bite. Because it's articulated, we don't necessarily need all of it. Plenty of space. Plenty of space for porcelain, yeah?
So how do you know it's 1.3?
Well, you should use calipers, unfortunately. Within it. Plenty of space for porcelain.
That looks nice, I think.
Alright.
Nobody's there.
Let's go man, Google Pakistan.
Alright, now the margin is critical.
I'm not making anybody's face.
Margin is critical. You don't do it on the model just in case you damage the model. You just trim along the margin very, very gently. And this is called burnishing. So if you've got a material that's very ductile, it'll move a lot. Now this isn't, and yet I've still got a really good fit just there. Okay. So continue round. If you take too much off, the crown's dead. Alright? You see now how that fits.
But what's going to go on top of that?
Porcelain. Okay? See the fit now?
Yes.
Fits really well. Okay? Following that, I like to define the external metalwork. So, the collar should go right into the interdental space. So I'm just making a ledge for the porcelain to sit on. I'm not digging into the crown, and if you check the angle out that I'm using, I'm not coming in there, I'm coming in like that. It goes all the way into the interdental space. Okay, and then finally, and above all, there's no sharp edges on your external surface. If there's any sharp areas, the porcelain is going to fracture and come off. So then, same way as we've done with the abrasive burr, we're now setting up the surface. This is one of the surface treatments for the porcelain. It's leaving it scratchy. You know, I talked about micro mechanical retention with etching porcelain earlier. This is setting up mechanical retention with simply burring. If you wanted this to look really smart, sometimes you get asked by dentists to send the metalwork to the surgery so they can see whether it fits before you put your porcelain on. We don't want a scruffy lump of metal going off to them. So what you would do is actually rub a wheel with your collar. Just make it matte. Slightly shiny, but matte. Okay, and then over the top. And again, I know I've got some experience, but that's, if I wasn't talking to you, that would take about a minute for me to chop up. So it can be done reasonably quickly. And then I'll check the margins again. If there's something I don't like, if there's something I don't like, I'll just do a very gentle trim. Okay, so I'll show you that in its finished state. So,
Yeah, man, looks good.
yeah, have a butcher's at that. Look at yours, didn't we?
Sorry. Was that done?
Was. Right. Right, gold crowns then. Sarah's been working on this, so it's not as such.
What is this?
Alright.
Looks massive.
Massive. Right, contacts then. Guys, last year you did a gold crown. I think some of you missed your contacts, or you had wayward margins that the crown didn't quite fit, etc, etc. That was a process thing last year. Wax to metal and process. This time we're actually making something, so it's got to be spot on. So what we do for contacts then, this one isn't too bad at all. If you've got a really heavy contact, because you know we flush the wax up the sides, yeah, to allow for this trimming. If it's really bad, then you'd use your abrasive wheel. If it's really close, then we'll use a rubber wheel. So you see the finish of the abrasive wheel there, how scratchy it is. I know most of you have been through and polished, so this is a recap for you. Can you just push that double to you? Okay, this is going to start. There's now. Alright. Okay.
Will that dye that colour?
No, these are tuned alloy oxidises readily. Stops you using it in the mouth.
Told us to put
That's warm.
clear nail varnish on it.
Yeah, you can do. It's only because it oxidises, so it needs oxygen. If you put varnish on it, stops the oxygen getting in. What we do is just rubber that now, nice and evenly, until we get a contact. It's not free, and it's not moving this model either. And do the measure.
Well, you still have the crowns from last year.
We found it away.
We've melted. No, we reuse them.
What about the
You
models?
liar. What have you used them on?
Most of those are destroyed.
What?
Space,
Get over
simple
to-
storage.
We wanted them back.
You did? We might still have some.
I remember I asked you.
Right. If you look at that there, that contact's hard.
Last year.
So we'll just swap that back
Does he
round.
want it? No problem.
Get over the shelf.
No, when I was a student, I had a load of stuff go missing. Well, I say missing, it was thrown away in between years. And I made a continuous clasp, a Kennedy bar, and that took me ages to make, and that went by the wayside. Okay, if you've got a lot to remove, then you're never going to do it with a rubber wheel, so you've got to start with something abrasive. Now this time you do leave it hard on the contact, because there's still the rubber wheel stage to go. So you don't get everything, you don't get that crown settled down on the contact without leaving some material to rubber wheel. So we'll rubber that. And incidentally, when you come to, if you do your gold crown first, and then you do your copings, don't use the same burrs. Because there's metal on the burrs, and this alloy will not mix with that one at all.
What happens if you do?
Your porcelain won't stick to that metal. It's a contaminant. I mean, you might have seen the box of burrs that I carry around when I'm making things. I've got so many different burrs because they're all set up for different materials. It's a way where we can check, and this is the weird thing. You do one side and then the other side, and then try it in, and it's really hard. The reason being is both teeth have got different paths of insertion. So the crown contacts slightly differently on each one than before. So still a little bit of adjustment to do there. How could you
put that down.
how could you check contacts in an accurate way? The model's moving slightly. How could you set something up